right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I also trained her in like building an elevator pitch about her dating and relationship history, and also just changing our paradigm of how we see that and how the people benefit from not being serial daters and not having carrying all that baggage into their next relationship, you know? So there are a lot of benefits about her story and about her experience that she didn't see it that way, because the people around her had very different experiences and projected upon her that something was wrong with her experience, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so all of that was coming out in this date, you know? And so while I hated that she had that experience, at the same time, boy, oh boy, did
Great
we,
learning.
yeah, did she learn a lot, you know,
Yeah.
about herself, and she will definitely show up, you know, a lot differently the next time around, you know. And so yeah, that's a big one, is really just addressing things as they come,
Yeah.
because it's not the comfortable thing to do, but it is the powerful thing to do in the process of vetting, right? You want to see how a person handles your boundaries, how they respond to that. That
Yeah.
tells you a lot about someone.
Yeah. Or if you say, you know what, I'm not like really comfortable answering that. I like barely know you, and see how
Yep.
they respond. Are they going to get defensive and like
Exactly.
get offended, like take it personally? Like, well, gosh, like I was just, or are they,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make it. I
Yeah.
guess it is
Yeah.
kind of a little personal, huh? Okay, let's start over. Let's
Yeah.
like you can kind of really gauge and see who that person is by how they respond to your boundaries. That's
Yeah.
definitely.
okay.
Yep. And how they respond to feedback, you
Mhm.
know, all
Yeah,
of that is
yeah,
very telling. So
yeah,
it pays to be on it, you know, from the beginning. So
yeah, yeah. And that I was gonna ask you guys, we're talking about dishing out the boundaries. What about when someone enforces boundaries with us? Because I will say, sometimes I'm a little like, oh, or like off guard. But
Britta.
okay. I'm gonna admit, it takes me a minute to be
Uh-huh.
like, okay, I get it. Sorry.
I think I respect it more only because it took me a long time to do it. So I can remember my brother, like, okay, there were no boundaries growing up. It was really poor boundaries in my family, and there was just like a lot of inappropriate conversation. My brother kept carrying that on even into adulthood, and I remember not too long ago him saying something to me, and it was really inappropriate. And I said, I don't want to hear that. Like, that's not something I want to hear from you. It's inappropriate. That was the first time I did that. And then
Mm.
after and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I knew I made him feel uncomfortable. I knew I like hurt his feelings, but I hung up the phone and I was about to like send him a text, like, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Like, I was about to just
Mhm.
like, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
I'm trying to make him feel better. He's the one that made me feel uncomfortable in the first place. So it was like a really interesting realization that we are often just sacrificing our own feelings to not hurt someone else's. So
Yeah.
if somebody tells me like a boundary, I'm like, great, good for fixing it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel a lot more comfortable with people who are outward with their boundaries and people who have boundaries.
Yeah.